All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, another NBA regular season video. In this video, we're going to talk about two games from the past 2 days. There were four games, four primetime games over the course of the last 2 days. There are two that I really want to talk about. There's an additional one that I want to talk about at the end. But if you like what I have to say, like the video. If you have your own opinions, comment it down below. And if you just like the vibes, consider subscribing. So the two main games we're going to talk about Knicks going to Milwaukee to play the Bucks, and we're going to talk about Denver going to Minnesota to play the Timberwolves. And then the last one I want to talk about at the end, just because it was a little bit more, it was a little bit interesting, but wasn't interesting enough to dedicate like two full blocks to, was the Clippers heading up to Golden State to play, or heading up to San Francisco to play the Warriors. So those are the three games we're going to talk about here. I have some notes. I have some thoughts, as always. And yeah, let's just jump right into it. So, Denver in Minnesota to play the Timberwolves. Timberwolves wearing the throwback jerseys. Top right of your screen, mid right of your screen, you can see Jaden McDaniels in the black and what is that? Black, green, and white jersey there. Those are some of the best jerseys in the NBA. Throwback Timberwolves jerseys, but the jerseys were not enough to win the game. The Denver Nuggets won this game 127 to the Timberwolves 114. This was a fairly competitive game considering that Anthony Edwards did not play in this game for the Timberwolves. If he did play in this game, I think this would have been even more interesting. But it was fun. It was a fun game, and I use the word fun in like I had no, I wasn't rooting for anybody. I didn't really care who won. It was just fun to watch this game. Um, Big stats for the night. For the Timberwolves, 24 points for Julius Randle, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 4 personal fouls though, not great. Jane McDaniels, we're going to talk about Jane McDaniels a lot in this section. We're going to talk about Jane McDaniels a lot in this section. 25 points, 10 of 16 overall from field goal, 4 blocks, 1 assist, 3 rebounds. We'll get to him in a second. Mike Conley, the vet, 10 points. Dante Vincenzo, 12. Not his best shooting night, not his best performance overall. Just okay enough. Um, Rudy Gobert, five, five, 5 points, or 5 rebounds, 8 points. I have no feelings on Rudy Gobert at this moment. Naz Reid off the bench, 18. Um, 1 block, 1 steal, 7 rebounds. Really good stuff. Terrence Shannon off the bench, 9 points, and then didn't get a lot from anybody else there. Um, let's 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 talk about um, some of the lineups they're running out here because Rudy Gobert was not the answer in this game for the Timberwolves. They were getting worked by the multiple-time MVP Nikola Jokic on the Nuggets, and at some point, Coach Chris Finch for the Timberwolves was like, you know what, let's go small. And they put Julius Randle at the 5, small ball 5, and then they had him out there with like McDaniels, um, Shaden, not Shaden. I always want to say Shaden Sharp, Terrence Shannon. I think Dante DiVincenzo was out there too, and like Rudy Gobert, which, but not Rudy Gobert, Mike Conley, or some combination of that with Rob Dillingham out there as well. And I kind of liked the lineup. I liked it enough because Jaden McDaniels was showing up offensively. And when Jaden McDaniels shows up offensively, he looks really good. And especially at the beginning of this year in this game in particular, he looked incredible. He looked really polished. He looked a lot better than he did in any previous year. That might be just because he was getting more touches this game because of the Anthony Edwards absence. But I genuinely liked the way he was getting his buckets. He wasn't dribbling too much. He wasn't dribbling too little. He was getting to the basket. He hit 1 3, which is considering that like you weren't getting the catch and shoot opportunities that you normally do off of like Anthony Edwards. Making one of 3 threes is pretty good. Um, I'm not too mad at it. Um, and to be honest, like him and Julius Randle were like a pretty cool duo out there. Um, when Julius Randle did have it going, at some point Julius Randle just like lost the plot entirely, as he does throughout these games where you ask him to be the guy. Unless they're up big, if you have to fight upwards, Julius Randle and his like turnovers and his fouls and all this stuff just doesn't help you in the slightest. And I'm always vaguely concerned when I have to rely on Julius Randle. Even though he had a decent year last year, he has looked a little bit better over the course of these first couple games in the sample size. But I'm still not the biggest fan of Julius Randle, and even more so Julius Randle and freaking Skechers. I can't trust anybody who's hooping in Skechers. Julius Randle is a Skechers athlete, and them things look uncomfortable. I think they fell off twice throughout the course of this game. It was just, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. It was a good night, like maybe box score wise for Julius Randle, but at some point he just lost the plot entirely, as he does, and Rudy Gobert wasn't there to back up the back line. Um, it was fairly competitive. It was a fairly competitive game. Mike Conley had a couple shots. Anthony DiVincenzo had a couple shots. I liked the Terrence Shannon minutes. The thing I didn't like, I think they just had to throw him out there because Anthony Edwards was out there. Freaking Bones Highland, man. Um, or more, its government name. They shown Highland Bones. Um, God, bro, Bones is such a throwback player because Bones Highland will he'll get you some buckets. But man, when he doesn't have it going, does it look rough? He was over dribbling the ball. He had one assist, two rebounds, two fouls, two turnovers, and 4 points. One of six overall, and one of five from three. Bones Highland just is an NBA player, man. Maybe like maybe even like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, he probably would have been a really good player. But in this current day and age of the NBA, where like both of your guards have to be either very good defensively and one's like sort of a little bit more sharp offensively, or one's really sharp offensively and one's really sharp defensively, and they sort of counter each other, they sort of work together. Bones being on this team and getting these minutes. He played 16 minutes, and Chris Finch just had to throw him out there. I mean, maybe you couldn't even throw Jaden Clark out there because he was a DMP left calf tightness. So you had to throw him out there, but man, was it hard. And Bones got to play against his old team in the Nuggets, and every time I saw him shoot the ball, I was like, this is why the Nuggets got rid of him, because he was doing this stupid shit every time he got the ball when he was with the Nuggets. To talk about the Nuggets, however, um, this was a pretty good game for Nikola Jokic. Pretty steady game. 25 points, 10 rebounds, 19 um, 10 assists, 19 rebounds. Crazy, 19 rebounds. Did not take a single three. 9 of 10 overall. Took 7 to 7 from the free throw line. Really good stuff. 4 personal fouls, not the best um, defensively. When I talked about that smaller lineup, when they had Julius Randle out there and they had Jaden McDaniels, and they had some of the smaller guys, they would use that switch that you would get on a pick and roll and get Jokic moving his feet, getting into foul trouble. So defensively, not Jokic's best game by any means, but offensively, this is a steady game for him. This is what I always like to see from Nikola Jokic, just these steady stat lines. Like, I know 19 rebounds is kind of crazy, but it's sort of normal for him, especially playing against smaller players. Jamal Murray was the big name for the Nuggets last night, or yeah, 2 nights ago. 2 nights ago, yeah, 2 nights ago. On Monday night, 43 points, 3 assists, 6 rebounds, 2 turnovers, 2 personal fouls, 5 of 9 from three. Really, really, really caught fire there. Mid right of your screen, number 27. 37 minutes, a lot of heavy minutes. 16 of 29 overall from field goal. So huge night for Jamal Murray. I always say this when I see Jamal Murray do this. I'm like, Jamal, if you could give me half of this every night, you would be like a 5-time All Star, and you'd be looked at as like a really good player. But he just doesn't do this every night. It's so inconsistent, and the percentages aren't great this night. That night, 16 of 29 isn't great, but when you have it that hot, you're just taking heat checks sometimes. You're just tossing stuff up and see if it goes in. So I can't be too mad at it. The rest of the starting lineup did not have a great performance. 7 points from Christian Brown, needs to be better. Aaron Gordon, coming off some hot games, sort of has cooled down. 9 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds, 3 personal fouls. Did not make a single three. Did not make a single three. Took 2 of them, and 3 of 10 overall from field goal. And the biggest disappointment thus far, and I know he's learning the system, and it's going to take a little time, It's Cameron Johnson, man. Cam Johnson has looked awful. He's looked awful. He's had wide open shots. He's had point blank layups, and he's just smoking all of them. It's not good. And this was a huge offseason acquisition. And I think it's going to take time, and I'm not really going to give a grade on the trade that they did trading Michael Porter Jr. for Cam Johnson. But right now, it isn't looking good. It does not look good, and I'm sort of disappointed. And I thought maybe him just being a shooter and him just the floor opening up for him, um, being on this sort of team would work immediately, and just hasn't worked immediately. Um, Another offseason acquisition for them that had a really good game. Um, Tim Hardaway Jr., 20 points, 4 of 6 from 3, 7 of 11 from field goal. No turnovers, just buckets for Tim Hardaway Jr. last night or the other night. And he was somebody that I thought would struggle, but it's been the reverse. Cam Johnson has struggled, and Tim Hardaway Jr. has looked really good. Another good player for them last night, Peyton Watson. I keep saying last night, the other night, Peyton Watson, huge buckets in clutch, huge steal, a huge couple blocks, 12 points for the night, 2 of 2 from three, 4 of 6 in 25 minutes. The most impactful 25 minutes you'll ever see from any player, only playing 25 minutes. Really good stuff. Closed out the game for them, and yeah, he. I dare to say him, Payne Watson, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Jamal Murray were the reasons why the Nuggets won this game. Um, really good game last night. On a night where the Nuggets could have been sleeping, they came out, they took care of business, they played good basketball, and it was all sunshine and roses for them down in Minnesota. So the next game I want to get to, the one I really want to spend some time on, is the Knicks heading to Milwaukee to play the Bucks. The Bucks won this game 121 to the New York Knicks 111, and this was not the final score I was prepared to look at, or I even thought the Bucks had a chance to beat the Knicks. Um, this game was about the resilience of the Bucks and the greatness of Giannis, and really just standing pat at home. Um, I do have a couple notes of this game. There are some interesting characters for this game for the Bucks. So we'll get to those guys in a second. Um, Actually, yeah. Let let's get to it right now. Let's get to it right now. So you have the usual cast of characters, giving you a pretty good performance, or one character giving you a really good game. That's Giannis. 37 points, 2 blocks, 1 steal, 7 assists, 8 rebounds. Took a three, did not make it, but he was 16 of 22 overall from field goal, and he was a man on the mission. He, I think, he even said in like his post game interview, like we weren't just gonna let the Knicks come in here and like we would roll over and lose this game. We wanted to make this game competitive. We wanted to make adjustments throughout the course of this game. They are the better team. They're one of the better teams in the East, and we needed to come out and play not perfect, but hard, and just wanting to go 110% because Giannis always goes 110%. The other character that had a really, really good game that I don't think anybody was expecting. The ascension of this player and the slight ascension of this player is interesting because he's somebody who was on the Warriors who I watched a lot, and I was like, I don't know about this guy. He doesn't look like an NBA player. Ryan Rollins, man. Ryan Rollins started this game off hot. Busted his lip, had to go out of the game, go get that cleaned up, then came back in. And for the rest of the, what would that be, like 40 minutes of this game, right? Of game time, he played 26 of those minutes. He had 25 points, 4 steals, 4 assists, 2 rebounds, 4 of 4 from three, 8 of 11 overall. The confidence that Doc Rivers has in this guy, and the confidence his teammates have in this guy in the short amount of time. I think he was on this team last year. He didn't play a lot, but he's been in the system. He knows the guys on this team, and he got the starting spot. He started a lot of these games this year, early this year, and he's looked really good. And he's a great partner for Giannis. Not so much in the pick and roll. I don't know the numbers in the pick and roll, how many pick and rolls they run. But he's just a good all around do it all point guard. And I didn't see that from him when I believe he had stops in um, the Warriors, and then he was like in Washington, and he was in the G League, and now he's starting on the Bucks, and they just beat the Knicks, and the Knicks are 2-2 on the season. Um, Really good stuff. Those two guys, Amazing stuff. Gary Trent had a couple good threes, 205 from three, 11 points. Um, some of the other guys pitched in. Amir Coffey, 8. Bobby Portis, 9. Torian Prince, 8. Just okay enough. Um, the only real disappointing thing about this team, besides like the Miles Turner, which I think I've made very aware that like I always want to see more from Miles Turner. I feel like he doesn't show up enough. He didn't show up this game. He had 5 points, 8 rebounds, 1 of 5 from three. No show, but that's sort of the usual thing for him. Cole Anthony. Cole Anthony looks bad, dude. He looks really bad. Defensively, doesn't look engaged. 9 assists though, so he was playmaking a little bit. 4 points. 0 4 from three. 2 of 7 overall. I mean, it is a good Knicks defense, but if Ryan Rollins can get off, Cole, come on, come on, Cole, come on, Cole Anthony, you got to step up a little bit. On the Knicks side of things, just some stuff in my notes here. Um, Jalen Jalen Brunson, captain of the New York Knicks, he looked really good in the beginning of this game. He was abusing um, some of these younger, smaller guards. Who we got here? AJ Green, Cole Anthony. Like he was doing it on everybody. He was getting like crushed in the paint. Like they were basically like surrounding him in the paint. He would throw up a shot, would go in. Had some savvy mid-range shots. Looked like Jalen Brunson for the majority of this game. We'll get to why he didn't look like Jalen Brunson at the end, but he looked savvy. He looked savvy as ever. Every year, like I'm like, oh, is this gonna be a Jalen Brunson down year? It isn't, and he looks really good. He looks, again, the word I love is savvy. He looks so savvy out there, especially when you try to throw these younger, like quote unquote more athletic guards, and more like they'll probably move their feet better. Jalen Brunson's footwork is just incredible, and you're just never gonna stop him with a younger guy or like somebody who's bigger or like anybody like that. You're just gonna need to hope and pray that he misses some shots. And that was the story for the first half of this game. Clarkson came in this game off the bench. Where's Jordan Clarkson? He had 10 points off the bench, 2 of 3 from three, 4 of 7. Um, Field goal, 17 minutes. Him and Jalen closed out the first half really well. I didn't think I'd like that backcourt duo, but it worked out. Um, and yeah, and we'll get to the third quarter. In the third quarter, I have a note here that says the Bucks are in all caps alive, because they looked really flat and they came out in the third like gangbusters. They looked really good. The Bucks did, and the biggest thing for the Knicks was like you had guys like Landry Shamet show up, 16 points, 4 of 9 from three. Jalen Brunson, like I said, 36 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Mikal Bridges, 24 points. And then you had like Jordan Clarkson on the bench, 10 points. And the real stinkers for the Knicks were Karl Anthony Towns. Karl Anthony Towns was a no-show. 2 of 12 from field goal, 0 of 3 from three. 12 rebounds is nice, but you had no points. You got 8 points. No show, absolutely no show for for Karl Anthony Towns. He was getting worked by Giannis. He was getting worked by Miles Turner. At least on the defensive end. Um, he just looked so uncomfortable the whole game. Like there was just no option for him to like be like, okay, now I get some rest to like get some easy buckets. There were no easy buckets for Cat last night, and that's credit to Giannis and Miles Turner and the Bucks. But this is the East, man. These are the guys you're gonna have to go through. This might be like, in some world, this might be like the two would be like the 4-5 matchup, or like the um the the, the 3-6 matchup. Like there are so many combinations where the Knicks are going to have to play the Bucks, and if Karl Towns doesn't show up and he's just uncomfortable the whole series, then why are you here? We'll just trade you for Giannis this summer, and we'll go get somebody who actually plays basketball. And OG Anunoby had 9 points, but I don't look for OG Anunoby to score like that. He's the defensive guy. He's the defensive um, mastermind of this team. Um, one block, one steal. Wasn't defensive mastermind this game, but I'm not gonna blame OG too much for having a bad game. And then the biggest thing that was noticed by me, with Karl Anthony Towns getting, he got clamped by Kyle Kuzma, the bum Kyle Kuzma, who everybody just dislikes intensely. Um, Kyle Kuzma locked up Karl Anthony Towns, and the stuff I was hearing on the broadcast about Kuzma this game was like he's locked in, he's really bought into his role. He doesn't mind starting, he doesn't mind coming off the bench. And this game, Kyle Kuzma looked like an NBA player again, and Um, Kyle Kuzma really started like an avalanche of like the Bucks going on this crazy offensive run. Their defense was really good. Their rebounding was really good, and they were hitting their threes. And it looked it looked strange because like in the first half you could see like um the Knicks were obviously the better team, and there was like I started thinking about it like there was like this gap, right, where like the Knicks are just on another echelon and the Bucks are on another, and then it completely flipped, and it just came down to heart and hustle. And I'm not saying Mikal Bridges, and Jalen Brunson, and all these guys had hustle, but at some point they were just getting outworked by like from different places, and it was like it was jarring almost because it was like what happened like in the locker room? Like, did you guys just forget how to like guard these guys? Because you guys were doing a good job in the first half, and then the second half was just nothing. Um, where am I here? Where are my notes here? Um, what happened in the fourth? Because the Bucks were going crazy in the third, and then in the fourth, um, Jalen Brunson goes down, um, grabbing at his thigh and his quad area, and he strained something really bad. It was on the play before that one, and then he came down, and then Giannis and were fighting for the ball by the sideline, and he tweaked it a little bit more, and he just didn't look right. He came back in the game to finish the game, but after that, he just didn't look right. And the Knicks sort of faltered, and um, again, Carl wasn't there to like back up the points, and Mikal Bridges just wasn't had it in that moment, and at that point they were down like 8, and then it ballooned to like 10 or 12, and then that was it. They just lost the game. They couldn't recover, and then the game ended 111 to the Bucks 121. So that was that game. Um, the Bucks wanted it more, man, and this is the thing. And I'm not trying to make too quick of a judgment on Mike Brown, the Knicks head coach. This stuff wouldn't happen if Tibbs was there. Tibbs would have eaten, would have just yelled at these guys profusely, like, "What are we doing?" I think that's the difference in coaching style. Where like the Knicks are going to lose some of these games where they probably should win, just because they don't have the heart. Um, there are some guys on this team, and we won't name names, who really want it, who like are real competitors. Who are like, "Oh, okay, this guy's a competitor. This guy's a gamer, right?" Like Mikal Bridges, gamer. Jalen Brunson, gamer. Landry Shamet's a gamer, even though he's like in and out of the lineup previously in his career. And like you look at a guy like OJ Anunoby is a gamer. You look at Ariel Hukporte, who only played 12 minutes, no points, but he was out there. He was trying at least. Jordan Clarkson, gamer. Josh Hart, gamer. Josh Hart also didn't show up this game. Very disappointing, Josh Hart. Um, there's a player I didn't name. His name start his initials are KAT, and he doesn't look like he always wants it. He looks like when he doesn't have it, he just throws his hands up and cries and gets in foul trouble. Five personal fouls for that guy as well. Very this player KAT. This is the season where you got to show up, or you're going to be out of here, because the Knicks want to move now. This is a win now team, and if you can't win now, you're going to be out of here. Um, Last quick game I want to talk about here at the end. Um, the late night cap from last night. The Clippers traveling up to San Francisco to play the Golden State Warriors in a very competitive, very defensive-minded game. Um, the Warriors won this game 98 to the Clippers 79. This game was the battle of like the uncle function, unk function, where these both these teams are very. The word used was experience, not old, experience. They're very experienced teams, um, and I have a note here, right, that we're gonna get to. The small things that the Warriors have done, just this early in the season, have been very eye opening, and I like them a lot. Um, some bright spots for the Clippers. Ivica Zubac only had 14 points, but they were very. I don't want to use the word savvy and very smart 14 points. Um, Hook shots, layups, putbacks, nothing out of character. I mean, there was one shot out of character where he hit like a turnaround fader, like a Dirk Nowitzki fader, but like that was like in the flow. He was in the moment, and like he made it. And it was like it looked good, but I was like, oh wow, okay, he's really on fire. 14 points for him, 7 to 12. Getting fed off James Harden, assists, 12 rebounds for Zubac as well. Um, James Harden looked really good in the first half. Um, was is still the engine of an offense at this advanced age. James Harden, um, wheeling and dealing, um, setting up guys. Even though he only had one assist on the game, the attention he brought, the hockey assist that he got, um, all that stuff, really good. And they, and and these teams are going at it. And like I said a couple moments ago, um, this was a defensive minded game, and the only way the Clippers were in this game at all was because of their defense. At some point in the second half, in the third and fourth quarter, um, they just stopped. They stopped their offense. The Clippers' offense just stopped, and it was a purely defensive game for them. And then when the defense started to go, it became a blowout for the Warriors. Um, the Clippers started moving like an old team. And I said this in my preview of this team and of this season for them. I said the Clippers were going to need to come out hot. And now they're 2-2 on the season. They have not won an away game. They lost to the Jazz on opening night. They've lost to the Warriors on the road. And it's kind of, I said it in the video. I was like, oh, am I falling in love with the Clippers again? I kind of was. And then you sort of remember these halves. And you're like, man, what happened? You guys were really good in the first half, and then the second half, the offense left, and then the defense left, and then it was literally like you were relying on Ivica Zubac and Nicholas Batum and John Collins and Brooke Lopez and to get your buckets, and it was it was ugly. I like those guys. I like all those players, but to rely on them to get you buckets consistently, to like keep you in a game, I don't like that at all. Um, Sorry, I had to take a moment there to catch my breath. Um, the biggest thing, one of the things for the Warriors here in this game in particular, the starting lineup. Starting lineup was a little bit different. It was Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, Jonathan Kuminga, Draymond Green, and Quentin Post, the sophomore player Quentin Post, who was very questionable offensively, who was very good offensively last year, was questionable defensively, and last year, and I believe this is his first start this year. And the things I really liked was slightly improved defense. His feet were moving a lot better, and his rebounding. He had 8 rebounds, and he lost the battle to Ivica Zubac, who had 12. But he was fine. He had his hands on some of those boards, and like the Warriors are a group rebounding team. I mean, Draymond Green 7, Jonathan Kuminga 5, Jimmy Butler 5, Al Horford 4, Brandon Podziemski 5. So like it wasn't like Graham Post was out there to eat rebounds, but the rebounds that he did get were pretty competitive rebounds, and they were pretty tough rebounds to get. Um, Hold on. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. I had to take a little break. Just a 2 second break. We were talking about Quinn Post. Um, he wasn't that much of a difference maker, but it was enough to catch my eye. As somebody who watches this team a lot, who enjoys watching this team because of Steph Curry, um, really, really caught my eye. The other thing that caught my eye was that this Warriors team is a bit more experienced team and a bit older. They do have some young guys, and the young guys made the difference in this game. They made the complete difference. Just the small tiny things, getting after loose balls, jumping out of bounds, like put a ball back in bounds, um, the energy, just like the no easy buckets mentality, really good. There was a lineup out there where it was Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green as like the older experienced guys out there, and then it was like Kaminga, um, Moody, and Podzimski or some combination of that, and that was really good. That was a really good lineup because you had enough young legs, but you had enough like defensive like veteran experience to like for Draymond Green to guard Kawhi Leonard or Jimmy Butler to guard Kawhi Leonard or whatever the case may be. It was really good. And I like that lineup a lot. I hope we see a lot more, especially against teams like this who do run a little bit older and do have older bigs, but also they don't have many options outside of their older bigs. You would have to run like Derek Jones Jr., John Collins um, at the 5, for the Clippers. And in those minutes where those both teams went small, the Warriors won engagement right there. The last note I have here is the Clippers stalling and the shots are too quick. They just started falling behind. They just started throwing up shots and praying they go in. And I like Coach Toronto a lot for the Clippers. Um, what wasn't his best coaching night. Got out coached, and the big I won't say the excuse, but the biggest thing um, that was talked about this team was it's going to take time to gel. There is no time to gel. The time to gel is like in camp, you know, and in training camp. And if you come out slow, you're going to be in the play-in. That's just how the West is this year. If you come out slow, somebody's going to be there to take your spot. The Spurs are going to be there to take your spot. Maybe not the Dallas Mavericks. The Spurs are there to take your spot. Portland looks surprisingly really good. There are teams that could come up and like sneak your spot out right at the end of the season. You'd be like, damn, we should have won that game in October when we played the Warriors, like or whatever. Um, not the Clippers' best outing. Some numbers here at the end for you guys. Quentin Post 12, Stephen Curry 19, Jimmy Butler 21, hero of the game. Um, Podzimski 12 for the Clippers. Kawhi Leonard 18. Um, Vince Zubac 14. James Harden 20. Bogdan Bogdanovic too. Very disappointed in the Bogdan Bogdanovic minutes so far this season. I thought he'd be a bit more involved in the offense. Not really involved at all. Played 9 minutes. Even got some garbage time minutes, so maybe it was even more like 5 minutes for the game. Nicholas Batum hit a three. Did not hit another three for the rest of the game. Um, Chris Dunn 5. And then you got some burner minutes. Cam Christie 4. Kobe Brown 2. Not a great night for the Clippers or Clippers fans. Great night for Warriors fans, though. And yeah, that's it. That's the video. I just want to talk about a couple games um, over the last couple days. There wasn't a lot of. Well, I shouldn't say. I want to start covering the games like this because I think it's a little bit easier, a bit more digestible. I don't have to talk about every game. We didn't have to talk about what other games were there. Hold on, there were some games that like I took notes of just in case I did want to talk about them, but we didn't need to talk about Pistons Cavs. The Cavs blew the doors off them. Um, we barely touched on Warriors Clippers because the Warriors just blew the doors off the Clippers. So I want to start covering it like this week to week. Probably now that I'm looking at it, probably like 2, 3 videos a week, maybe 4. If you guys get a weekend video, you guys will probably get a weekend video this weekend about the WNBA and the CBA and all that stuff that's going on. So that will happen this weekend. But as for Thursday, tomorrow, you guys will get a video. At least we'll talk about one game, one game. Was it tomorrow? Because tonight we have Cleveland in Boston on ESPN, and then we have Lakers in Minnesota to play the Wolves. So one of these games has to be good, right? One of them has to be good. So we'll see. I will see you guys tomorrow with one of those games. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.